Good morning, Seller Sessions. I have with me today one of my favorite people, Joseph Carter. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Amazing. I love your last name. I always think of your last name because obviously Beyonce has the same last name, so I put you
So
in,
does Little Wayne.
in the same category. I know you probably didn't expect that, but listen, every time I think Joseph Carter, I'm like, oh, I should listen to Beyonce's old album or something. How are you? You are in Florida, right?
Yes, currently in Florida, and I am in West Palm Beach right now.
Amazing. Well, I am in where am I? I think Edgewater, Florida.
hmm Beautiful place, beautiful location.
It's amazing. As you know, I'm here for a few conferences, and me and you got to meet the other day, so it's only natural that we have this podcast today. I know we've been waiting to do this. I don't know, probably for a few months now. We kept
hmm
talking about it, and I'm so glad it finally happened because I think you are an exceptional human. And for those that do not know Joseph Carter, would you please tell us a little bit about yourself? Where did you grow up? What did you do up until like this moment?
Oh, the whole shebang, huh?
It just
Um, that's a good. All right, so let me try to give you a long story in the short version. So, grew up only child, raised by a single mother, Houston, Texas. That's was born and raised. Went to school, horrible in school. Graduated like second to last in my class of a class of 700 students. So my education and attendance in school wasn't always the best. Went to the military at age 22. Was a Navy corpsman, but I served with the Marines for 6 years as a combat medic, and got out in 2014. 2014, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life, but all I knew is I didn't want to work for anybody else. I didn't want to get a job. I wanted to be able to fend for my own and live the beach life and go surfing every day and go hiking every day and not have to worry about reporting to a schedule at all. And had no idea how to do that. So I started going to YouTube and searching how to make money online, how to make money from home. And I came across a good friend of mine who was very successful on Amazon. I paid him the last bit of money that I had for him to teach me. And within a couple of months, I started making anywhere between five to $15,000 and grew it from there. Long story short, I did the same thing that my friend did. I started sharing the service and the education with other people, and pretty much grew a business of successful students having great results, bringing me more referrals. And then it got to the point where um, people wanted me to do it for them. They wanted the success I had with my store. They wanted me to provide the same success for their stores. And for the longest time, I said no because it was very time consuming. And I got to the part where it came up with an automation business where I automate all my students and client stores on Amazon. And in a nutshell, there's a lot of things that has happened, come and gone since then. But in all honesty, the life has been a journey, and I wouldn't trade any great experience or any bad experience for anything else.
okay, amazing, and we're done. That this was perfect. No, this was great. So you said you first came across Amazon and you started getting into it. What kind of business model was that? Like, was it the FBA model? Like, what was it that you were
It
doing?
is. It has been FBM, so fulfillment by merchant model. So where we go to Walmart or we go to Target and buy items, scan the items, and relist them on Amazon for a higher sale. So it's something that anybody could do. If you have a couple bucks to your name, you go down to the store, buy a $10 item, and go to Amazon and list it for $20 and make double the profit.
Retail arbitrage.
Retail arbitrage, correct?
That's so that this was your very first model.
Yes.
And did you ever transition to like FBA ever?
I never transitioned to FBA,
What do
not
you
once.
have a reason for not doing that? Is this
The reason for not doing that is because I found that doing retail arbitrage mixed with drop shipping was less time consuming, and I had a greater ROI on my daily schedule. So instead of me going and buying items constantly and then stacking up the items and send them off to an Amazon warehouse to where they sat in inventory, and then I had to do the ads and the cost per ad to get the items listed and ranked and get them sold. I just found items that were already selling at high numbers and where I could create a little bit of profit margin in them. And I copied the listing, all this online, and I reposted it. And then when items would be bought online from my store, I would then go to those other online stores and purchase those items at a cheaper price and ship them off to those customers.
That's wonderful. Is retail arbitrage something that you can scale, that you can take to like a whole nother level? And would that include you hiring like a lot of people, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I have roughly close to 1,200 employees that work with me overseas, VAs basically. 1,200,
Holy.
1,200. Yeah,
Okay.
and they do.
We need to do on how do you have
Yeah.
100 people? Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So ideally, what I do is I just take my knowledge and I pass my knowledge on to my managers, and my managers manage sections of these employees across the globe. But scalability, yes, absolutely, it's easy to scale. You just need more eyeballs on compute and more computers to be able to scale everything. And it's all about listing the right items. It doesn't cost you any extra money to list an item because you're not spending any money until something has sold. So once something has sold off the listing that you listed, you then go and purchase it after the money's been secured. You go and purchase it with that money secured from the other wholesaler and ship it off to that customer. So instead of me spending $50,000 on inventory and shipping it off to Amazon's warehouse for Amazon to list and do everything, and for it to sit there, whether it will sell or not, I'm on the hook for that. All I do is I list items on my store for free. That's not sitting in a massive inventory warehouse somewhere, but is sitting at a wholesaler's warehouse where I know it's at. Didn't cost me anything to list it. And then it's like putting bait in the water. And once somebody buys these listings, the money is secured. So a simple example is, let's say I list a picnic table for $100 for sale on Amazon. Well, I haven't bought this picnic table yet, but I know where I can get it for $75 from another wholesaler who has it in their warehouse. So I list it for free. Someone buys that picnic table for $100. Amazon deposits the $100 to my Amazon account. I then go and purchase it for $75 from my wholesaler who has it at their warehouse, put in that customer's address and ship it off to that customer. And then I'm able to collect the profit of $25 out of that $100 expense, out of that $75 expense.
And what's the time limit from that, from when somebody orders the product for you or buying the product from your wholesaler and shipping it out? Like what's that?
It's same day.
Same day.
Same day they purchase. So I make sure that my wholesalers can ship out within 2 days. Mm-hmm. And then what I do on my shipping is I give my customer anywhere between 3 to 5 day shipping time. So some customers will look for items that can arrive in the same day, 2 days. Some that doesn't matter, they can arrive in 5 days, they'll be fine. Well, for this listing particularly, I know my wholesaler will get this listing out in 2 days. So I give an extra cushion of 3 to 4 days for that, or 5 days. Or for somebody who says, hey, it's going to be here, it will ship out in the next 2 weeks, I'll do like a 3-week shipping. So that way the customers know what to expect and they can see it right there on the ad that's being listed. And then for items that I know I get out same day, I basically do a 2-day shipping time. It arrives on time. It arrives earlier than the 2-day shipping time. And then I get a 5-star review because it arrives so quickly.
Wow. You mean a seller feedback or actual product review?
Seller feedback.
So people actually go the distance and they put a feedback. Do you feel
Absolutely.
Like people do seller feedbacks easier than they would write a product review? Curious.
I honestly feel like obviously the product reviews are going to be higher, but seller feedbacks with emails and communications from the sellers to the customers is also extremely important, almost as important as the product arriving on the doorstep. And even if the product is bad, then the customer is not happy with the product, because we have such a good communication process from our team to the customer, and we have a decent refund policy, the customer is always happy to leave us a positive review.
What is your return rate on products?
We can see, based off the products that we list, anywhere between 5 to 9% return rate. And of course, that grows as the number of sales grow. But the items that we list are generally items that don't break often, items that we don't really mess with clothes, because when people, purchase clothes, they don't always fit the right way, or maybe they gain some weight since the time that they ordered it and it doesn't look appealing to them. And the other thing that we try to stay away from is generally electronics. Electronics tend to break in shipping or tend to have problems. And so those will have a higher return rate. And it's all dependent upon the categories of items that you list, ideally. If it is going to be electronic, we just make sure it's a really strong electronic piece of equipment or a toy or something like that. We don't have to worry about the returns coming in.
Got it. Do you have what was like your highest ticket item? Like what was the price range?
Oh, I sold something as simple as a $1,000 massage chair to a $1,600 pool table to I'll give you like another example. We sold dumpsters that were $1,200, and then we listed them for $1,600. And the people who are buying it, these are commercial businesses, so they're buying dumpsters, and there's an easy $400 profit margin that we can capitalize on right there. Refrigerators, let me try to think of the highest item we've listed. It's definitely been less than 5,000. I haven't sold anything over 5,000. It's been less than that. But what I do find is that when you raise the price in the items, people deem them more valuable. Mm-hmm. So if you have two picnic table listings, and one says $32 and the other one says $65. Ideally, people are going to go with the $65 table because they just assume it's going to be more sturdy, more durable, and it's not going to break on them. And that's when you learn a secret that I learned a long time ago, is that price determines value, not the other way around. So if you set the price, the value is automatically raised to that price, as long as someone's willing to pay it.
I love that. And I feel like that is so accurate for products that are even like $40 and up, I would say, approximately. Because like if you buy a product that's like $10, $20, you don't really care because the quality will be the same. But when you get into like the 40s, 50s, even though it's not that high, people automatically assume they would rather buy something that's like $50 compared to something that's like 35 or 40 because they deem them more
correct,
valuable. And I completely agree with that. I love that. I love that mentality. I mean, in the end, the products are probably very, very similar, so they don't get much difference. I mean, we all say our products are the best. So let's hope that that is true for for everyone who sells this product. This is that is definitely a great find. I love that.
Yeah, the great thing about this model, the benefit is that you don't have to own the product, take a risk of the product, or take the risk of picking the wrong product and sinking $30,000 into it and it not moving on the table. We have a system that searches the internet for items that are high selling categories, and all we do is piggyback off those. Like I can tell you, pens and pencils for the viewers are the easiest thing to scale out a lot of profits in, because you can sell those for $12 to $15, and a pack of pens and pencils will cost you $1.50, and you're doing 1,000 of those items a week or a month, and you have a profit margin that's 10x or higher off of something so small, and you multiply that over time, it's easy to scale. And so as long as items are arriving to customers on time is generally where we avoid most of the headaches. We don't really worry about the returns, because when someone sends us a return, all we do is we forward that same return over to our wholesaler. Wholesaler shoots us a shipping label, we send that to the customer, and everything is done after that.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you would always pick that model over FBA?
For me, yes, because it's for the newbie, the new person getting involved with e-commerce and Amazon. Retail arbitrage mixed with drop shipping is the best way to go about it. You could start out with FBM, so fulfillment by merchant, meaning you go and purchase the product yourself, you have it in your hand, and you list the item. And then once you get that process down, you want to go and start finding where these items are online at wholesalers and list those items. So now you're not having to waste the gas, you're not having to waste the time going back from your house to the store, back to your house to the post office. Your time is the most valuable thing to you. If there's anything I learned in the military, was that one day we're all going to die, and because death is real, that means the time that we have on this earth is so much more valuable. So if I'm going to do anything with my life, it's going to be what I want to do. And the money that I've earned online is going to allow me to do that. I don't want to spend 1 minute, one moment of time doing something I hate, hoping to get something that I want later on down the road. And that was the model that was taught to us in school. Work a job for 40 years that hopefully you like it, but most likely you're going to hate it. And then you can retire when you're 60, God willing, you don't have cancer or any other type of horrible diseases that happen in this world today. And because of that, that's why I picked the online model. And I would tell every newbie who's trying to get started in this space, unless you have a product that you deem that is highly valuable, that you love, that you're willing to put 100% of your time into and back it and build a brand. If you're not willing to do that, go online and do it this way.
Oh, that is so good. Keep preaching, Joseph. No, that was very good. I tend to agree with that. So you got out of the military and you were pretty broke, right?
Yeah, I had $800 to my name.
How did you, this is very interesting for me to know personally. So how do you transition from having that mentality? Because when you are in a place of lack, when you don't have much, how do you go from that mentality to like, I'm going to be a winner? Do you feel like the military has helped you build that like confidence that you can accomplish anything? How did you go from having 800 to like starting multiple extremely successful businesses?
So I wouldn't say that the military gave me the confidence that I could do anything. I would say the military showed me a life that I never wanted to go back to.
Mhm.
And it showed me, of course you have discipline, right? And discipline equals freedom. If you have discipline to wake up in the morning, to structure your meals, structure your workout, to structure your time with your family and friends, you are free because you've already structured your day. If you don't have the discipline to wake up early, you've slept too late, you've lost the day, you eat a horrible breakfast, right? You feel like crap now, and now you're just struggling to get through the rest of the day. So discipline is the one thing I got from the military, which was a benefit. But as far as the reason for my success, no, I wouldn't say that. The reason for my success is I had so much hate and so much disgust for the life that I was told I was supposed to live, that was the motivation and fuel to cause me to pursue the life that I live now. That was the biggest difference. So instead of, looking for somebody who had the lifestyle I wanted, what I did was I looked at the lifestyle I didn't want. And that was the fuel that I needed to keep going forward. So that we call it the why. What's your why? Right. So my reason for success is I have a very big why. And the way that I found this why coming out of the military is I have the notes in my phone still to this day. It was saved in my iCloud. Is when I got out of the military, I asked myself one simple question: when are you the happiest? Right? When are you at the top of your game? When are you functioning on all RPMs? And what gives you the most octane, the most fuel to be happy in life? And that answer was when I'm at the beach, when I'm out hiking, when I'm at the gym, when I'm doing jujitsu, when I'm hanging with friends, when I'm talking to people about random business adventures, and whenever I I get to go on a drive. My most happiest times are just going on long drives. And so because of that, that meant I can't have a job. I can't work as a bartender. I can't work as a real estate seller. I can't work a corporate job. Couldn't be a lawyer. Definitely couldn't be a lawyer because I was horrible at reading, right? My ADD just kind of went off on a tangent. Couldn't be an engineer because, again, corporate life. And I definitely didn't want to go back to the military. That doesn't leave me that many options but sales, right? Door-to-door sales, something like that. Well, I didn't want to go outside and sweat my butt off knocking on people's doors hoping to sell them a product. So that was also very difficult. So because of that, I figured out the online route was the only way that I could technically live a life of happiness. Because, like I said, the greatest motivation I have is realizing that one day this life is going to end, one day we're going to die. And that gave this time so much value. So that was the reason why I was able to build, multiple streams of income through other businesses. I just became a hustler. So with $800 to my name, what I did was I had to figure out, how do I get more money to me? How do I make money? Because money is a tool to get me to the next destination. It's a stepping stone. It's not meant to be worshipped. It's not meant to be huddled. It's not meant to be saved. It's meant to be used, right? So because it's meant to be used, I need to get more money so I can use it. So what I did was I signed up for unemployment. It was a very difficult decision for me because I'm like, I can't believe I'm 28 years old. I have no plan for my life. I just got out of the military and I'm signing up for unemployment. I'm that guy now, right? But what I realized was this was just for right now. This wasn't forever. This wasn't what I was going to live off of. I'm not going to be a bum collecting unemployment and just, living at the beach. I was going to do something with it. So I used my unemployment money to pay my buddy for his Amazon course. And I used that money for the next 2 months to purchase items and list them online. And because of that, I was able to build a massive, massive income for me, at least at that time, which was, I think my highest month, I did a little over 22,000 in sales or 22,000 in profit off of $50,000 in sales over the course of 4 months.
The moment you had the $800 when you bought the course, it was 4 months until you got to 20,000 profit.
Yes, yes. It was extremely, it's like the money, the $20,000 didn't matter to me as much as the first $1,000 that I made. Equal to what I was collecting on unemployment, to be honest with you. When I replaced my unemployment with the money I was making on Amazon, that gave me the foresight to see that this is real, that this could happen. So
Did
I tell everybody getting in space, make your first $1,000 as an entrepreneur, and that will be everything you need to go forward.
did it make you think like, holy shit, I just like spent years in the military for like this much money, and there's all this world out there where you can just like rack money in all the time?
I was definitely upset at the FOMO of what I missed out on by being in the military, but I would not trade my time in the military for anything. Those 6 years made me a better man. It helped me not be a foolish man. It helped me to see the world for the good and the evil that was in it. Because before I went into the military, I was this naive, good little Christian boy who, said, "Hey, look, if you told me you believed in God, I automatically trusted you. Like that you were a person I could be completely forthcoming with and 100% give you all my, talk to you about my struggles and challenges, and you weren't going to use those against me." I learned very quickly that is not the case. People wear the face mask of a spiritual believer just to gain your trust, and I learned that the hard way through the military. It's the greatest blessing I could have ever had. It made me a man that's aware of my reality and my surroundings. So for me, it was definitely necessary because I was very naive. So that's one good thing that the military did for me on that aspect.
Why do you say the military taught you that? Like, what happened that made you realize?
When in the military, you're forced to meet people from all different walks of life. You go from, I come from a small town in Texas, where I know everybody around me. I know the circle of people I'm surrounded with, and we engage in appropriately with the relationships based off what we know about each other. To meeting strangers from different parts of the globe, to being stationed in different parts of the globe, where you're even forced to meet people who aren't even in the military, but people who are the different cultures of that land, and then you're meeting different women from these locations. You're meeting different men from these locations, and it just opens up your eyes to what really goes on in the world. You meet really, really evil people. Even in the military, you've met a lot of evil people and out, and then you meet really good people, both in the military and out. And I needed that exposure. See, I needed to be put in risky situations like that to help me form a better understanding of my world and my reality. And I speak about this a lot because I truly believe that if you fix your perception of life, how you view the world will really determine your current reality. And that was the saving grace that I had for myself, coming from, a small town kid who was just naive about anything and didn't know better. So that was the greatest experience that I had. And again, that's transcribed into, hey, I don't want to go back to this life, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to make money now, so that way I can do the things that I wanted to do.
Oh, I love that mindset. I can see why you are so successful. It's all in the mindset. Like once you switch that and you stop being like the victim, you automatically assume a different role that it doesn't necessarily have to be a leader, but more of a, I am confident in my abilities. I know what I'm going to do, and you actually go do it. So, and I love that you mentioned the perception you have of others. It can really change everything. And I love that you got to experience that. And I love that even though, your experience in the military wasn't necessarily like, primo experience, because I haven't met any military person that says, oh yeah, my military journey has been like 5-star. It does teach you all these qualities, and I'm glad you can look back and see how that has helped you at least form your personality, if not anything else. Because I'm sure there are things in your life and in your business that you have to face every single day that military aspect can come through, whether it's just like really reading people or, like you said, discipline, waking up in the morning. And I just and thank you, obviously, thank you for serving our wonderful.
My pleasure. It's an honor. And just this, again, this is for like the new entrepreneurs. The best way I can describe this life is, in the military, when you're climbing that mountain and you got 100 pounds in your back and you're in pain and you feel like quitting, you're already in pain. So why would you quit when you're in pain? You're on your way out of the pain. So don't quit so that way your pain lasts longer. Because if you quit, if you drop your pack and you're on the side of the mountain, you're just delaying the inevitable of more pain. See, my goal was to get through the pain as quick as possible. To get to the pain as quick as possible, I got to get to the top of the mountain, right? So it's like if you're going through hell in life, don't cry and quit. Use your crying, keep crying and get through it. Get through it as quick as possible. And there's been plenty of things in business that could have taken me out. At any one time over the last 6 years, there's been so many things that have come up, mistakes that I've made, mistakes that my company made, mistakes that my employees made that could have ended everything and been forced me to go back into like the job sector. But because I had the mindset of like, I'm already going through the pain, so I might as well keep going and just figure this thing out, I was able to keep going forward. And the message is the more money you can get access to, the better off you'll be, even if it's debt. See, for many years, even though I was making money, I was taking on more debt so that way I could expand. I had almost about $175,000 in credit card debt within a year, and I was only making like $65,000 because for whatever reason I ran out of lines of credit for my Amazon store. I had to worry about suspensions. I had to deal with returns. Like, it's not all rainbows and roses at the end of the day. And you need that mindset of do or die type of lifestyle. If you don't have that do or die when you go to start business, you might as well never start it, because the first time something comes up that knocks you on your butt, you're going to want to quit. And that's why the perception of your reality is everything. See, I learned a long time ago, the brain doesn't know the difference between the truth or a lie. It only knows what you tell it over and over again. And you have to tell it the right, as I like to say, the right lies, right? Because your reality is always changing. It's never the same. So even if you're broke, even if you're not happy, even if you're, not feeling good, you always have to start out with saying, I'm happy, I'm wealthy, and I'm rich. Happy, healthy, wealthy is what it is. Happy, healthy, wealthy. The most important thing is your health, your happiness, and your wealth, your pursuits. Now, wealth doesn't have to be millions of dollars. Wealth can just be $500. Wealth can be $1,000. Wealth for you is determined upon where you set that bar at, and that bar is always being raised. Right. So if you're telling yourself the right lies every day, if you think about it, if I'm sitting in traffic and I'm saying this traffic is going to not go anywhere, then even if the traffic starts moving in your mind, you're still going to feel like you're not going anywhere. Even if you're like the other day, we were going out in the boat and it was raining before we got there. And I said, you know what, today's going to be a good day. Today's going to be a good day. And what that meant to me is even if it kept raining when we went out in that boat, we were still going to have a good time. Whereas some people could say, oh, today's going to be horrible. It's raining. Why are we even going out in the boat? It's going to be miserable. You go out in the boat and you are that miserable energy around everybody, right? So you've already made your day bad. So the point is you saying it's going to be a great day may not take the rain away. It may not take the traffic away, but because you're saying it's going to be a good day, you are the reason the day is a good day. And that's so powerful. And so for any entrepreneur that wants to get in this space, you have to buy into the hippie talk. You have to buy into the quote unquote witchcraft. You have to buy into the secret of the Bible or anything because there's truth behind that. The hippie talk works. The Bible works. The scriptures work, the positive affirmations, they work. This is coming from somebody who was broke and collecting unemployment and, struggling and had, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. I never allowed the debt to stop me from going forward because the debt was my motivation to keep going forward, right? Whereas people want to declare bankruptcy and quit and go back to their plan B. You can never do that because you'll never escape it. You have to use it to keep going forward. And that's just the best way to be a successful entrepreneur. To make millions of dollars in this business, you have to be willing to go through the hell to get out on the other side, not to see hell and then stop and turn back.
I can only smile because that's exactly my mindset. And these are the conversations that I love having with people because this is what changes lives. Having the technical part is amazing. I love people that can, pick up a skill, and the skills can be learned quite easily, and so can mindset. But it's almost comical because people will always go for the skill rather than fixing their mind. They'll say,
Correct.
they'll say, if only I can learn how to automate this, or if only I can learn how to like do bookkeeping from top to bottom, then I'll be perfect. But in the meantime, they don't want to change their mindset because they don't buy into, like you said, the witchery, you know. They're like, oh, what is this? This is crazy.
Talk.
What do you mean? Like, if I say it's going to be a good day, automatically it's going to be a good day? No, it's the skill behind it that is going to make a good day. And, you know, just throughout my life, I've noticed that that is not true. You know my story. We've been friends for a few years now. And I was smiling when you said that, because when I was in Romania, that's all I could think of. Like, I'm going to America. I'm going to America. I had no idea how that was ever going to happen. But because I desired that so much and I was looking forward to that, and it was like almost, it was part of my identity by now. Like, I knew one day I was going to get there and I didn't know how. So I love that you were able to create this for yourself. And I hope those who are listening would really take this into consideration, because it's not all about skill. It's about changing your mindset and accepting a more positive outcome in every single situation that you're in.
Yeah, that's so hard for people to comprehend. It was for me, at least. I remember when I got out of the military, I called a friend of mine who was making, $200,000 a month at the time. So he was making a couple million a year. And I called him up, and his name is David. And I said, David, what's the secret to your success? Like, how did you sell your soul to the Illuminati? Did you join some cult and now they have all this money just flowing to you? Like, what's your secret?
If you did, do they have another spot for you?
Do they have a spot that I can sign up for? What's the membership cost, right? And he told me, he goes, no, he laughed when I said that. But, I was just this broke military kid trying to figure it out. And the only way I knew how to make money in life was winning the lottery, playing sports, or you get to sue somebody, in a car accident or something like that. Those are the people you hear about making all the money. So he literally said, the secret is belief in yourself. And I'm thinking, belief in myself? What does that even mean, belief in myself?
Believe in myself, right?
Yeah. What are you talking? Like, that says so much, yet so little at the same time. I've never heard such a bland statement in my life, and he goes, Joseph, I have a paid off $1 million home. I have a Bentley in the garage, a Lamborghini in the driveway, all paid for. It's belief. I'm like, okay, how do I get this belief that you call, belief in God, belief in yourself, belief that you can do it all. And the belief that you could do it all was kind of the part that stopped me, because I never believed that I could do it all, because I put money at a higher pedestal. Like, I worshiped them. Like, $1 million to me was something that was like, you couldn't attain it. I wasn't reachable. So I said, okay, how do I fix this part of me so I can get to where you're at? And the first thing he said was, you got to read a book. You got to change what you listen to on a daily basis. You got to change what you see on a daily basis. You have to change who you talk to on a daily basis. You have to change how you feel on a day. Basically, your 5 senses. He said your 5 senses determine your reality. So I'm like, okay, this in my mind, I'm like, this guy's crazy, but he's crazy rich. So, and I'm crazy broke. And then he said, the next piece of advice is, don't take advice from broke people. Because if you take advice from broke people, you're going to get broke. Don't take advice from people who don't have the lifestyle that you desire. If you have a business idea and you have your Uncle Tom is down the street and he's, living in a trailer, and you bring this great $1 million business idea to him and you tell him about it, and he goes, I don't think you should waste your time on that. People who try those things, it never works out. You're just going to waste your money. And that's a stupid idea. Why would you think about something like that? Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get his lifestyle, because he's only speaking from his reality. But if you go to somebody who has the reality that you desire, now they're speaking from their reality. Now they're telling you about how to get to this reality. How do you get to a 7-8 figure income? I can show you, because I have that reality. I know the blueprint, right? The blueprint is you got to believe in yourself. The blueprint is you got to change your 5 senses. You got to go to the Ritz-Carlton, sit in the lobby. Look at the people that come through. You got to drive to the Rolls-Royce dealership, the Bentley dealership, the Lamborghini dealership. Go sit in the cars. Go, if you're driving a Honda, go to the next level up. Go to a BMW. Go to a Mercedes. Just go sit in the cars. Go test drive the cars. Because if your 5 senses are experiencing this, now your reality can start to change, and your subconscious will make a plan of action for you to get to this next destination. But if your five senses are experiencing your broke checking account that you look at every day, the negative family members that you're hanging around, the negative employees that you're stuck working with, you know, the poor house that you're at, you're only going to accomplish what your mind is seeing on a daily basis. So I look at it this way: is you can either close your eyes and replay your past, or you can close your eyes and pre-play your future. The biggest issue is most people are replaying their past over and over again, which becomes their present. And because they can't see past the present, they can never accomplish the future that they desire. So it's not the skill set. It's not learning how to sell things online. It's not learning how to sell real estate or create a $1 million business. It's learning how to fix this first. You have to create in your mind the future that you want, and then you have to see it on a daily basis. You have to feel it on a daily basis. You have to hear it on a daily basis. If you want the Rolls, go to the Rolls Royce dealership every day. It's free. They're not going to kick you out. You can go there and look all you want. You go sit in the cars all you want. You know, and the more you're touching that leather, the more you're grabbing that steering wheel, the more you're smelling the smell, the more your reality starts to change. Because guess what? You may not have the Rolls Royce, but you get to sit in one every day. You know, you may not be driving it yet, but you're sitting in the driver's seat. So the time is going to come when you're going to have this reality that you've always desired, instead of having the reality that you've always been talking about. Because reality that most people are talking about is the one that they don't want. And if you don't want it, why do you talk about it? It's like your ex. If you don't want to be with your ex anymore, why are you telling the next girl that you're dating about how horrible your ex was? Guess what's going to happen, bozo? She's going to leave you. And that's all you're going to be stuck about, is talking about your ex. So stop talking about your ex and start talking to the girls or the men that you want to be with. And eventually that's what you're going to get. So for the simple-minded, because I was very simple-minded, I was very naive, I was very stupid, I had this negative mindset about people who had more money than me and how they should give it to everybody else who don't know how to accomplish the money. No, because if you were to take all the money in the world and you were to evenly divide it up and give it to all the people on the planet, within 60 years, all that money would end up back in the same hands. Because the mindset for the person to have $1 million, they never became a millionaire personally. Mentally, they never became a millionaire. So because they never became a millionaire mentally, they're still a broke heir. Mentally, they're going to lose all the money because they're going to spend it on things that will not maintain that $1 million lifestyle. And so again, this kind of is a long-winded answer, but the point of the matter is that I personally had to learn how to fix this before I could accomplish this, right? I had to read the books. I had to write the goals down. I had to change my five senses. I had to go see the houses, sit in the cars, talk to the people who had way more money than me. And once I did that, then the roles reversed. I had the cars, and the people who wanted to make the money started talking to me. And the houses that, you know, people wanted to, that I was once looking at, hoping to buy, now I have realtors presenting these houses to me for me to buy. I don't have to go and look for them. It's amazing how quickly your reality changes when you change what you talk about. And that's the biggest secret to becoming a successful entrepreneur. Don't talk about your ex. Talk about your future partner.
Oh my God. I don't even know where to start. I mean, you just like dropped so much good stuff, so much knowledge, and I love it. I just want to like take a second and take it all in. But I mean, there's so many things that I wanted to touch on. But one thing is when you said, you know, if you go and talk to like your uncle down the street and he's talking from this experience, this is so real. And I've actually brought this into my life over the past few years, and I actually took it a step further. So for example, if I'm talking to somebody that's very negative, or they feel a negative feeling about myself, right? Like, oh, she's not smart enough, or whatever, or she's fat, she's ugly, she's this, whatever. So,
Sure.
you know, somewhere in my past, I would have taken that very personally, like, why don't they like me? Like, what is wrong with me? But now when that happens, I look at it and I'm like, wow, like, you must be really hurting. Like, I almost feel empathy for that person. I no longer take that upon myself. I look at it and say, wow, I wonder what's going on in their life for them to carry such a heavy burden that they have to make such accusations. So when I do that, it's almost like, okay, I'm still intact. I understand that they have this feeling about me, but that is their reality. That is their experience. So it goes the same way when you when somebody gives you an advice on business, like, don't do this will be a failure. It is their reality. They can never understand that somebody can even get to that. So in my case, when I first moved here, I was making very little money. I was making $140 a week. But then for me to be able to move to the next level, I had to surround myself with people that, made 500 a week. And I was like, holy cow, okay, I can see that as a possibility. And then I was like, okay, how about like 1,000 a week? Is that possible? So every time I did that, I kept breaking through that glass ceiling. And now, now I want to hang out with billionaires because this is where I want to go. And, when I do that, I'm like, wow, okay, he's not much different than me. Like, yes, he's smart or he has all this experience, but I am the same. Like, I have the same abilities. So, who you surround yourself with is also extremely important. And just like you touched upon, listen to podcasts, try to go to conferences. I mean, you drove all the way here for this meeting that we had, and it was
an hour and a half.
Exactly. And I love that. Like, one, we got to meet and talk, but then, you may meet somebody that may say one thing that could change your whole experience or your
and
whole.
I did.
Yeah. It did.
I did. Within that 45 minutes I stayed there, I did. I got the one nugget that I was looking for my business that's going to take me to another 10 million.
That's
easily.
I love that. I love that. And it was all because
of you. All because you invited me, to be honest with you. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll take a percentage of that. We'll talk after.
We'll talk.
So happy that you came. And that is, another thing about being open to accepting invitations like this. And a lot of people actually, it's surprising, but a lot of people they don't feel like they belong in places where there are people like this. So for me, one of my goals this year, I said, I want to find myself in rooms that make me uncomfortable. And who says that? Like, that is so hard to do. Most people shy away from that. Most people hide away from that. They don't want to be part of places where they're uncomfortable. They want to stay amongst their friends, where they are the smartest ones, where they are the successful ones. In my case, I'm like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to find myself in situations where I'm the smallest one. I want to be the smallest one. I want to be uncomfortable, and I want to be able to be open and receive all of the knowledge that everybody shares around me, which is why I'm in like a million masterminds right now, as you know. But, this every single time I do this, Joseph, just like you said, it elevates me to another stage. So I know for my journey and where I am heading into, these are the steps, these are the necessary steps, and it will take being uncomfortable, and it will take a monetary, expense. It will take many different things for me to get there. And some of them are going to be unsuccessful. And some of them I'm going to lose money. And some of them, I may not enjoy the situation yet. These are all steps, necessary steps that will move me further. Just like you went through the military, you had to go through a lot of the pain. Because a lot of people think, wow, that person is just so lucky. Like she came from Romania and now like she's doing this. Like, oh my God, like she just had a perfect life. If only people knew how much shit I had to go through to get to where I'm at right now. But that's not something I even need to talk about, because that was also part of the plan. And I am also grateful for all those mistakes that I did, for all the things that didn't work out, because I knew that every time I did that, I would move closer to what actually did work out.
Yes, it's not the question is, why is this happening to me? It's the question is, what is this trying to teach me? Like, what am I being taught here? Because I'm the reason for this bad thing happening. I'm responsible for this. My car broke down, I'm responsible. If someone hit me at a traffic light, I'm responsible. If I'm having a bad day because of a client that is not happy, I'm responsible. And even things that are outside of my control, I'm still responsible because I put myself in that position that caused that to happen. So the second you take responsibility for everything, then the second you have more control for your life. And being more aware is what gives you that more freedom, because you're aware of what goes on, like to avoid a car accident, to avoid, a bad person. Because be honest with you, hurt people hurt other people, right? Hurt people hurt people. So, to your point, when you talk to somebody and they look at you a certain way, they treat you a certain way, take a step back, just look at them. What's going on in their world? Not to justify how they're being, right? What's going on in their world that they're treating me like this? Because it's not me. Because it's not me. It's definitely something that's causing them. But maybe it is you. Maybe it's how your body language is. Maybe it's how you're approaching them. Maybe, you're trying to get some information out of them and you didn't do it in a kind enough way that warmed their heart, that made them want to give you that information. And the way to fix that is to care about people. You have to make a point to care about people. The more you care about people around you, the more those people will start to care about you. It's there's a phrase for it. I can't remember the phrase exactly, but if you were to run into 10 different people today and you were to give these 10 people your attention, your focus, your appreciation, your good energy, if you were to invest that into 10 people, it's multiplied back to you by 10 people. So you doing one thing, you will receive the benefit of that one thing times 10. Because when you're nice to somebody, when you're kind to somebody, when you're supportive of somebody, that somebody is going to be the same to you, if not better. But if you talk to somebody as they are, so here's the phrase. It is, talk to a man as he is, and he will only become worse. He will slowly deteriorate, right? He will become a worse type of man. But talk to a man in a way that it's better than what he is or she is, then they will become a better individual, because you're always either growing in a direction or you're declining in a direction. You're never still. And the biggest problem is when people approach other people that have bad interactions, because you're approaching them in a still way. You see them for what they are, for who they are, and you directly talk to them as such. But if you see them for what they are and you talk to them like, hey, your hair looks amazing today. Oh, bro, great shoes. I love that shoe choice that you have, or your outfit's stunning. And then you say, hey, by the way, I'm Joseph. I need to get some information on this. Can you help me out? It is night and day difference, right? So again, we talk about responsibility. That's one of those ways that you can take more responsibility for people who may try to hurt you, because they're already hurt. But if you've ever lifted up a hurt person, that individual almost worships the ground you walk on for that moment of time that you're engaging with them. So like, finally, somebody sees me for better than who I am. They see me for somebody who is worth more than how I view myself, right? And it's like, there was a guy who I used to do business with, and we would do speaking engagements at crowds. And this individual was not the nicest individual. He was definitely selfish in his own ways, and he wouldn't give that much time to people around him or to people in the business. And so I go to introduce him from the crowd, and what I say is, this is the nicest individual you guys will ever have the pleasure of meeting. This individual right here is so selfless. He gives so much of his time to people that you would think he's just handing out money left and right. He will take you out to dinner and pay for dinner himself just to make sure that you are happy and you have a meal paid for yourself and you're satisfied. He puts his satisfaction last. He puts your satisfaction first. Let me introduce this individual, John Smith, right? Now, John is he knows that's not the truth about him. He knows for a fact that's not the truth about him. But now he's compelled to meet that image of a man that was just described to, right? So again, it's a long-winded answer, but it's so important for the people to recognize that you are responsible for everything that goes on. You were responsible for leaving your country and coming here to America. You were responsible for getting yourself in front of these multimillionaires and billionaires. You were responsible for being a part of these masterminds. You were responsible for the relationships that you have built and the relationships that you have been able to get away from, right? And that's so powerful at the end of the day, when you realize that you have the power to decide where you're going to go and who you're going to interact with in life. So, I love that story, because I think it's absolutely amazing. I always give you all the praise because you're uberly successful, and it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. I love that play on words. And it's so good because in the end, we all want to feel loved. So even that individual that you mentioned, whether he's selfish or not, what a great thing to do for him too, like he's like, wow, because like you said, he hears this probably every day about himself, like, oh, he's not the most giving, he's not this, but yet here you are shining a new light on him. I am sure that has changed him completely.
Huge.
Even that one thing, and not only for stepping on stage and talking, but like, oh my God, like there's people out there who see me differently, because in the end, I want to believe that we all have that good side of ourselves that, we want to share, we want to show to the world. Like nobody wants to feel like the bad guy,
No.
we want to feel like the good guy. So even for you doing that for him, I'm sure he took that to heart and like, wow, I can be a different way. And, you did say one thing about being selfish. So, being selfish is not always a bad thing, because
Right.
I've learned, a very funny story. I won't touch too much on it, but somebody called me selfish the other day. And for the first time in my life, I looked and I said, you know what? Thank you. This is probably the best compliment I ever got. And this person was like stunned, like, what? Like, who says thank you to, like, I literally just like said something bad about you. And I said, it's been so long. It's been so many years that I've been working so hard on myself to get to the point where I'm like, you know what? I can make the decisions for myself and I will choose what is best for me. And when you do that, there's going to be people who do not like that, because everybody's almost expecting for everybody else to fall into place and do everything for everybody else. Because going back to responsibility, nobody wants to take responsibility for their action, and they want you to do everything for them. So the moment you say no and you're being true to yourself, you will be called selfish, and you will be called much worse, and there's going to be so much more hate towards you, which is fine, because when you show up as who you are and you're your own human and you stand in your truth, there's going to be people who will fall out of your life, but there's going to come into your life those people who accept you exactly who you are. And what is better than anything else, like if you can be yourself and go to like a party and be as degenerate as you want, because that is who you are, and those people who love you will love you regardless. Because why would you want to have people around you that do not like the kind of person that you are? Why are we trying to put on a front for what? Because in the end, we all want to be liked. So why not be exactly who you want to be and attract the people who would respect you for being who you are? So when that person said, you are selfish, I said, thank you so much. I appreciate this comment. It has made my day. And that was
that's so powerful.
What can you say to that? Like, you can't say anything worse than that now.
No, and it's so important that you are selfish, because at the end of the day, if you're not taking care of yourself first, you can't take care of anybody else. If you don't put your goals first and your dreams first, you can't take care of other people accomplishing their goals, support them in their dreams. You can't. You have to be happy first before you can help other people be happy, before you can support their happiness. And that's why you have to shift. When you shift like caring about people, see, I selfishly care about people. It is what it is. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I selfishly care about people because it makes my life better. It makes me feel better. And that allows me to carry forward those acts, right? So it's like the biggest mistake people make when they have kids is they drop their goals, they drop their aspirations, and they just focus on their kids, and they become miserable over time because they're only finding their happiness in their kids. And guess what? When your kids don't need you anymore, now you feel like you're going nowhere in life. You feel like you're stuck. Or maybe it's your relationship. You put your partner's happiness before you. You can't. That doesn't work. You have to put your happiness first. You have to figure out what makes you happy, so that way when you're happy and you walk into the room, you're happy. Now you can help other people be happy, because you are responsible for your own happiness. It's powerful, most powerful thing to be selfish, and people look at it in a negative way, but you shouldn't, because you're happy right now. You made yourself happy before you got on this podcast, which is allowing us to have a great engagement, right? But if you weren't taking care of yourself, and if you didn't get enough sleep, if you didn't dress well, if you didn't get some food in you, you would be unhappy on this podcast, and it would ruin everything. So I'm so happy to hear that you're selfish, because I think since you're selfish, you now have so much more of a better relationship, because you're always on level 10. I'm trying to catch up to you in so many ways. because your energy is so high. And I think that's so valuable. And the biggest thing that people forget is that if you don't feed yourself, if you don't clothe yourself, if you don't bathe yourself, if you're not getting that mental motivation, that personal development, if you're not making your own money, if you're somebody who's broke and you're around people who are making money and you have no way you don't know how to make money, your attitude changes, your energy changes, right? So that's why you always have to put yourself first. So I'm very happy to hear that you're selfish.
Thank you so much. I know it was a surprise, and I would have reacted very differently many years ago. But now I was like, thank you. I like that. I know, but that is what makes us different. And you're right. Like I want people to understand that taking responsibility, it's so much better than not, because it's so much easier to play the victim. Like like you said, I went to work today, somebody hit my car. But if you're like, you know what, let me take over this and let me fix this problem as it is my own. Because if you just give your power away every time to different situations, oh, that person is angry, therefore this is why I'm angry. That person is, which is why I'm this. My boss laid me off of work. This is why I'm miserable, and this is why I'm broke. But what if you're like, you know what? This was for a reason. Maybe I didn't even want to be in that job. I created this for myself. I wanted to actually get fired. Nobody wants to say that, but inside we all want a better life. So when you really want that, whether you know it or not, things will happen to you a certain way for you to move away from that situation. So every day you hate your job, one, you're going to perform terrible at your job, which will get fired because you also don't love your job. So why would you even want to stay in a job that you don't want and then get mad if you get fired?
Correct.
It's just, it's a whole circle. But once you take responsibility and say, you know what, it's time for me to take this power back and make the decisions, then your whole life will change, because all of a sudden now you have all these other possibilities that you didn't think you'll have, because now you have your power back. You have the power to make the decisions, just like you did when you got out of the military. You said, this is what I can do. This is what I don't want to do. I don't want to do. I don't want to do. It leaves me with these options. And it happens that, obviously, thank you, Amazon. We're all here for that.
Yes, thank you, Amazon.
Exactly. Like, this is how we met. And most of my friends I met because of this powerful platform. But in the end, we're all looking for success on our own. Like, what you do and what I do is very different, yet we share the same mindset. So I know if you were to completely switch your model and go into investing in Dubai real estate tomorrow, I know you're going to be just as successful and more in everything that you do, because it's not the job that you take. It's not the career that you choose. It's about your mindset, and you can literally make money with anything these days. If you start creating matches tomorrow or like toilet paper, you will be successful at that. And it's not the product, it is your mindset. So for those out there, at home thinking, oh my God, I need to create a product or something, start something and know that you will be successful. And there will be so many ways opening up to you, because now you are open, your heart is open, and you will be successful. And also, obviously, take Joseph's example, go to the Rolls-Royce dealership, go sit in that $10 million home, even though it scares the shit out of you, even though you're like, I can never achieve this. Just for a moment, imagine that you already own all of this. Because what house that is, that $10 million mansion, they were one day where you are. Very few people out there were born into money. And I think that's what also broke people tell themselves, oh, that person's lucky. Oh, that person's born out of money. But that's such a small percentage that it's a speck of dust compared to else on earth. So if you were to think, you know what, this person was just like me, like, it will give you hope. Like, okay, I can do this. Like, I have a brain. I have hopefully both hands, both feet. Like, I am here. I am present. I can do anything and more. I know it's so much easier to say, I can do this, I can do that, and then go and cry and say, how come I don't win the lottery? But the moment you switch and you take it upon yourself that you are capable of creating all of this, holy shit, the world is yours.
Facts. Yes.
Facts for real. I know I want to have another 5 hours with you, but let me read some of the comments from our amazing listeners. Daniel, Hi from Brazil. The conversation is being extremely valuable for me. I'm also a military newbie on Amazon World looking for my first product to launch. So Daniel, stop looking and go get it, right? What would you say to him, Joe?
Basically, so if you're looking for your first product to launch, this goes to everybody out there. What do you find yourself buying on a daily basis? Or what do you look around your house, look around your kitchen, look around your apartment, and what do you see in your apartment? And the greatest success I had starting out on Amazon was just looking at what I bought. You know, there's a likely chance that other people around you are shopping online are going to buy the same things that you bought. A coffee maker, right? A dresser, a toilet paper rack, right? A paper towel rack, napkins, forks, plates. And so you can go and get any product. And so the best advice there is, you know, go to the store and see what you usually buy an extra one and go home and list it online and see if that takes off. If it does, guess what? Now make your own.
And if it doesn't work out, don't give up. And
whatever, use it.
Exactly. Amazon Lambo Guru. I love the name. Joe is talking good sense. Love the hippie talk theory. Play Jedi mind tricks on yourself. Always tell yourself you're a badass winner. We concur. Amazon Lambo Guru. And many like Tony Robbins on steroids. Love the stuff. Thank you guys. I love it. I agree with you. Joseph is, you guys can see why Joseph is one of my favorites, because we always have these deep conversations when we meet and we're like, oh my God, we can create so much. And I love having you in my life, and I appreciate you, being my friend, and also for sharing your amazing wisdom and knowledge today with us.
Thank you so much. It's really an honor to have these moments with you.
Thank you. We didn't even get to talk about like your business. We got into this, which I think it's so much better, because in the end, this is what's important. But
this is what matters most.
Exactly. For all of you guys, please check Joseph Carter on Instagram, and you will see him going and trying all these cars. He just bought like 4 cars in like the past week. We're not going to get into that because that's another story.
We'll arrive soon.
Yes. Check out his and also his program. You have an automation, Amazon automation. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So just real quick. So I automate everything. So I have an Amazon automation program where myself and my team will build your Amazon store for you. For those of you guys who want to get started, but you don't know where to get started, we actually have a service where we build out your store for you. We do a little profit share split on the monthly basis based off of the amount of profits we make you monthly. We also do that with Walmart automation for people who want to get in the Walmart seller platform. We do that with Facebook Marketplace. We do that with eBay, and we do that with Target. So my business is, if you go to automationpays.com, we automate everything. If you want to get started, but you don't have the time because you work a business, you're in school, you have a family you have to take care of, or you have a job, but you want somebody to do it for you, the only way we make money is if you make money. So you hire us to build you an online store, and as long as we're making you profits every month, we're making profits too. I've never had one client in the last 5 years, one client has never gone negative in a month with our service. So they're always making some type of money, whether it may be a little bit of money or a lot of money. And that's pretty much what we do in a nutshell for people.
I love it. I love that. And you guys can see that Joseph is a super genius. So thank you again for sharing that with us. And yeah, guys, check out his Instagram. It's pretty dope. You show up my first because I watch your stories so much, and also your meme game is super strong. So
the memes are strong. The memes are not for the sensitive. Just so you guys know, if you're sensitive, my memes will. They are not for the sensitive, but they will keep you engaged. They will keep you laughing, and we'll have a good time with them all the time.
Amazing. Thank you, Joseph. And hopefully I'll have you another time, maybe in a year or so, and see what kind of empire you've built by then. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Ciao, ciao.